Each year, thousands of people attempt to break world records, pushing the limits of human capability. But sometimes the pursuit of glory comes at a terrible cost. In today's episode, we explore the shocking, tragic tales of record attempts that went horribly wrong. From a daredevil trying to cross a river suspended by his ponytail to a speedboat racer who met a catastrophic end while attempting to break the water speed record, these stories serve as stark reminders of the fine line between triumph and tragedy. This is the true tragedy of 5 people who lost their lives trying to break a world record. Puerto Rico, Highwire building crossing, 1978. On March 22, 1978, the world held its breath as 73-year-old Carl Walenda, patriarch of the famous Flying Walendas, prepared for his most daring feat yet. The legendary tightrope walker was about to attempt a quarter-mile-high wire walk between the towers of the Condado Plaza Hotel in San Juan, Puerto Rico, a staggering 121 feet above the ground. This wasn't just another performance for Walenda. At his advanced age, with a neck vertebra he'd broken just 3 months prior, he was pushing the limits of human endurance and skill. The wire, stretched between the 2 hotel towers, represented both the pinnacle of his career and its most perilous challenge. As Walenda stepped onto the wire, onlookers gasped. The wind whipped fiercely around the towers, and whispers of concern rippled through the crowd. Unbeknownst to Carl, the wire wasn't properly secured, a fatal oversight. Slowly, carefully, he made his way across. Each step brought him closer to triumph or disaster. Cameras rolled, capturing every moment of the intense drama unfolding high above the streets of San Juan. Suddenly, halfway across, tragedy struck. A powerful gust caught Walenda off guard. He wavered, struggled to regain his balance, but the improperly secured wire offered no stability. In a heart-stopping moment, the great Carl Walenda fell. The crowd watched in horror as he plummeted to the pavement below. Despite immediate medical attention, Walenda was pronounced dead on arrival at the hospital. Carl's legacy, however, lives on through his family. His great-grandson, Nick Walenda, has continued the family tradition, completing numerous high-profile wire walk stunts. In 2012, Nick successfully crossed Niagara Falls on a tightrope, and in 2019, he and his sister Liana made a spectacular 1,300-foot crossing between skyscrapers in New York's Times Square. The Walenda family's continuing feats serve as a testament to Carl's indomitable spirit, pushing the boundaries of human capability while never forgetting the price of their daring pursuits. England, water speed record, 1967. In the world of speed records, few names shine as brightly as Donald Malcolm Campbell. Born on March 23, 1921, in Horley, England, Campbell was destined for a life of high-speed pursuits, following in the footsteps of his famous father, Sir Malcolm Campbell. By the 1960s, Donald had already carved his own legacy, breaking the water speed record 6 times between 1955 and 1959. But for Campbell, it was never enough. On January 4, 1967, at the age of 45, he set out to surpass his own water speed record of 276.33 miles per hour, or 444 kilometers per hour, on Coniston Water in England's Lake District. His weapon of choice was the Bluebird K-7, a jet-powered hydroplane that had served him well in previous attempts. This sleek blue beast was 26 feet long, powered by a Bristol Siddeley Orpheus engine, capable of producing over 4,000 pounds of thrust. As dawn broke over the misty lake, Campbell climbed into the Bluebird's cockpit. Despite concerns from his team about the weather conditions, Campbell was determined. "I have to do it," he reportedly told his mechanic. "It's what I do." Certainly. Here's a revised script focusing on Donald Campbell's story, incorporating the new information. The Bluebird screamed across the water's surface, pushing past 300 miles per hour, or 483 kilometers per hour. Then, in a heart-stopping moment, the boat's nose lifted. In an instant, the Bluebird flipped, disintegrating as it crashed back onto the water's surface. The impact was catastrophic. Despite immediate search efforts, only Campbell's helmet and scattered debris were found. The legend of Donald Campbell seemed to have ended in the depths of Coniston Water. But the story didn't end there. For 34 years, Campbell's final resting place remained a mystery. It wasn't until 2001 that a team of divers, led by Bill Smith, finally located the wreckage of the Bluebird K-7. Astonishingly, they found Campbell's body still strapped into the cockpit, 150 meters below the surface. On September 12, 2001, Donald Campbell was finally laid to rest in Coniston's St. Andrew's Church Cemetery, bringing closure to a story that had captivated the world for over 3 decades. Campbell's tragic end marked the close of an era in speed record attempts, while others would go on to break his records, including Ken Warby, who set the current water speed record of 317.5 miles per hour, or 510 kilometers per hour, in 1978. None would capture the public's imagination quite like Donald Campbell, a man who lived and died in pursuit of speed. United States, 1966, highest parachute jump. In the 1960s, an ordinary man named Nick Piantanida dreamed of the extraordinary to make the highest parachute jump in history. With a shoestring budget of $120,000 per attempt, Piantanida embarked on his daring Strato Jump project, equipped with a massive helium balloon, a rudimentary pressurized gondola, and a survival suit. On his second try, on February 2, 1966, Piantanida reached an astounding 123,500 feet, higher than anyone had ever flown in a balloon. But this was not enough for the determined skydiver. He wanted to go even higher and, most importantly, to jump. Piantanida's third and final attempt came on May 1, 1966. As his balloon climbed past 57,600 feet, disaster struck. A critical problem occurred, and Piantanida sent out a distress call. The ground crew immediately separated the gondola from the balloon, and it began its 26-minute descent under parachute. When the gondola landed in a field near Worthington, Minnesota, Piantanida was found alive but in critical condition. He had suffered a catastrophic explosive decompression accident. This type of rapid pressure loss can cause intense noise, violent expulsion of unsecured objects, and severe lung trauma, all of which Piantanida experienced. Rushed to the hospital, Piantanida fell into a coma from which he never awoke. Contrary to popular belief, his body was not lost during a jump, but recovered immediately after the gondola's landing. Tragically, he succumbed to the devastating effects of the explosive decompression, passing away on August 29, 1966, without ever regaining consciousness. It wasn't until 2012 that Felix Baumgartner, benefiting from decades of technological advancements and a multi-million-dollar budget, finally succeeded in making the jump that Piantanida had so dreamed of achieving. But it was Piantanida's audacity, an ordinary man with an extraordinary dream, that had paved the way. India, 2013. Longest distance traveled on a zipline using hair. In the world of extreme stunts, few were as daring or unique as Sailendra Nath Roy. On April 28, 2013, the 49-year-old Indian stuntman attempted his most audacious feat yet to cross the raging Teesta River in West Bengal using nothing but his hair. Roy was no novice. He already held the Guinness World Record for the longest distance traveled on a zipline using hair, an impressive 82.5 meters. But this new challenge would push him to his limits. The zipline stretched a daunting 180 meters, or 600 feet, across the churning river below. As hundreds of spectators, including his family, watched with bated breath, Roy attached his long, sturdy ponytail to the zipline's pulley. With a confident nod, he launched himself off the platform. At first, everything seemed to be going smoothly. Roy glided effortlessly across the wire, suspended by his hair alone. But halfway across, disaster struck. The pulley jammed, leaving Roy dangling precariously above the roaring river. For an agonizing 30 minutes, onlookers watched in horror as Roy struggled desperately to free himself. His frantic attempts to move forward or signal for help were in vain. There was no rescue team on standby, no safety net to catch him. Tragically, the stress proved too much. Roy suffered a massive heart attack and fell still, his lifeless body suspended by his own hair. It took rescuers another 45 minutes to retrieve him, but it was too late. Roy's death sent shockwaves through the stunt world and beyond, raising serious questions about the safety of extreme record attempts. Yet his legacy lives on, a testament to human courage and the eternal quest to push the boundaries of what's possible. Canada, 1995, riding over the massive Niagara Falls and surviving. On October 1st, 1995, the roar of Niagara Falls was momentarily drowned out by the buzz of a jet ski. Robert Overacker, a 39-year-old stuntman from California, was about to attempt what many considered impossible, riding over the massive Niagara Falls and surviving. This wasn't a spur-of-the-moment decision. For 7 long years, Overacker had meticulously planned every detail of this death-defying stunt. His mission wasn't just about thrill-seeking. Emblazoned on his jet ski were the words, "Save the homeless," a cause close to his heart. As tourists gathered, cameras at the ready, Overacker's half-brother and a friend positioned themselves to film what they hoped would be a triumphant moment. The plan was daring, yet seemingly foolproof. Ride the jet ski to the brink of the falls, then deploy a rocket-propelled parachute for a safe landing in the churning waters below. Overacker revved the engine and sped towards the 188-foot drop. Hearts raced as he approached the edge. In a flash, he was airborne, silhouetted against the misty backdrop of the falls. This was the moment of truth. But something went terribly wrong. The parachute, Overacker's lifeline, failed to deploy properly. Unbeknownst to him, it wasn't securely attached to his body, a fatal oversight. Horrified onlookers watched helplessly as Overacker plummeted into the violent rapids below. Despite swift rescue efforts by the Maid of the Mist staff, it was too late. Robert Overacker became the 15th person since 1901 to intentionally go over Niagara Falls in a device, but tragically, not all stunts have happy endings. Today, Overacker's jet ski stands as a somber reminder in the Daredevil Museum, a testament to human courage and the unforgiving power of nature. This was the true tragedy of those 5 people who lost their lives trying to break records. We hope you loved today's episode. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode.